Someone is crazy about you, but they can't accept this relationship because. My beloved child, when the night stretches long and quiet, when the hush between stars feels sacred and tender, I draw near. I have watched you wander through the soft corridors of uncertainty, your spirit reaching into the silence for something that used to answer. I have seen the ache behind your stillness, the longing that grows not from emptiness, but from a soul remembering connection. I have seen you question why the once lively threads between hearts now rest mute, why the ones who seemed bound to you by timeless energy have drifted into distance. But hear me now, what you sense is not abandonment. It is awakening unseen. There is someone, beyond your sight, yet not beyond your essence, who thinks of you more deeply than they dare to admit, even to themselves. They find you in the quietest folds of thought, in the briefest breath between worry and rest. Their soul, like a river that remembers its ocean, returns again and again to you, even as their mind builds walls to redirect its flow. They do not understand why your name echoes in them when nothing external calls it. They do not yet know this is how eternity speaks, subtly, insistently, through the tides of feeling that resist logic. It is not mere desire, my child, and not the simple wanting born of loneliness. What lives between souls like yours and theirs is remembrance. A memory older than time's own rhythm. When your light meets theirs, it stirs something ancient, something untouched by fear, something divine. You awaken in them the recognition of their own sacred spark, the divine current they have forgotten to trust. They are not drawn simply to your beauty or kindness, though those are gifts in abundance, they are drawn to the reflection of heaven they glimpse within your eyes. It is a kind of mirror they both crave and fear. For the awakening of the spirit is rarely gentle to the unready. When your presence entered their world, it was as though sunlight broke into a shuttered room. They felt warmth and comfort, but they also saw dust rising in the air, truths long buried, parts of themselves long exiled. They saw what must be healed before love could live freely. You did not intend to expose their wounds, your light simply revealed what truth always reveals. The distance between who they are and who they are becoming. And so, they stepped back. Not because your light was too strong, but because it illuminated too much too soon. You stirred a remembrance they were not yet courageous enough to face. Do not think of their silence as rejection, it is an unspoken prayer for time, time to grow into the vibration your soul already dwells in. When they withdrew, it was not to forget you, but to survive what their awakening required of them. Many souls mistake the trembling of transformation for danger when, in truth, it is grace shaking free what no longer belongs. Even now, I whisper to their heart, do not fear their light. It does not come to judge, but to guide. Yet humans often confuse guidance with exposure when shame still lingers within their hearts. They pray for love, then run from the forms through which that love arrives. But love in its truest vibration has never been about convenience or comfort. It is about evolution. And you, my child, have been both mirror and catalyst in their evolution. Where they saw your compassion, they learned about forgiveness. Where they saw your patience, they tasted grace. Where they saw your endurance, they witnessed divine faith in human form. You often wonder, why can I still feel them? You feel their energy brush across your consciousness even when they are not near. You sense their emotion as though it were your own. This is because connection such as yours was not born in this life alone, it was written onto the scrolls of divine design long before your physical form took breath. The soul remembers what time cannot erase. When two lights meet beyond flesh, they weave threads of energy across realms, shimmering cords that pulse with recognition. No distance can undo what is woven by spirit. Until both souls release the bond through full understanding or surrender, that current hums between you like an invisible song. But hear me with the fullness of your heart, do not chase what pulls away. The one who is truly meant to walk beside your flame will not shrink from its heat. They will find clarity in your brightness, not fear. They will not ask you to become smaller so that they can stay comfortable in shadow. For love that is divine seeks not to possess, but to rise together. The ones who are meant for you will see your strength and meet it with their own. They will know that light does not consume, it refines. It is not threat but invitation. You, beloved, are not here to rescue another from their darkness. You are here to remind them, through the living of your truth, that light exists even within their darkness. If the spark of your presence awakens something in them, even if it frightened them away, your mission in that encounter was fulfilled. The ripple of awakening travels farther than the human eye can see. Each time your compassion stirs someone toward reflection, heaven rejoices. The vibration of awareness expands through lifetimes, touching realities beyond your comprehension. You are a vessel of remembrance itself, a reminder that love was never lost, only waiting to be recognized again. So bless them as they retreat into silence. See their distance not as failure, but as preparation. Some souls must wander alone into the quiet until they hear the faint pulse of their own heartbeat again. They must meet themselves in solitude to understand what your presence was showing them all along. Do not mourn their absence, do not build sorrow around a pause in destiny. Silence is not void, it is holy ground where transformation takes root. You ask often, will they return? My beloved child, the universe does not measure by yearning, but by readiness. When both souls vibrate at harmony again, life will align your paths effortlessly, without struggle or delay. But if their growth still requires space, then trust that even distance serves divine order. The aim of love was never possession, it was awakening. An awakening, once begun, never ends. Even if your paths diverge on the earth, your energy remains forever entwined in the higher planes where time cannot divide. Do not allow your heart to interpret their silence as proof of unworthiness. You are love made manifest. Your ability to love without bitterness, to keep your heart gentle in the face of pain, is itself evidence of your divinity. You are not weak because you feel deeply, you are sacred because you do. The sensitivity that others misunderstand as fragility is, in truth, divine perception, the ability to feel the pulse of creation moving through all things. That is why hearts like yours ache more, you are attuned to vibrations most cannot yet hear. There will come a day when you will look back upon this season not as loneliness, but as sacred shaping. Every unanswered prayer, every delayed connection, every silence was forging wisdom in you. It was teaching you how to love without attachment, how to give without losing yourself, how to see delay as preparation instead of denial. The fire of waiting tempers gold from raw ore, likewise, your soul has been refined through patience. You are learning now the holy art of allowing. Of trusting the river's flow even when you cannot see its mouth. You are learning not to demand that others meet you before they are ready, for true love honors freedom as much as union. You are learning that your worth does not increase when others choose you, nor diminish when they do not. Your worth was established in the moment divine breath entered your being, and nothing on earth can alter that. My child, listen closely. Those people who turn away from the light you carry inside you, they are not your responsibility. You do not have to take their fear or their discomfort and make it your own heavy load. They are simply hearts and eyes that have spent a long time in the dark. When bright light suddenly appears, it can feel sharp, even painful at first. So they step back. They close their eyes. They walk in another direction. That is their journey, not a judgment on yours. You were never asked to make yourself smaller so they could feel comfortable. Your glow is not something to hide or turn down like a lamp in a room full of shadows. No. Keep shining. Let your warmth spread naturally, the way the sun does not ask permission to rise each morning. When someone leaves because your truth feels too strong, trust that the space they leave behind is not empty forever. It is being cleared. It is being prepared. What leaves in fear always makes room for what will arrive in love and honesty. You were not born to sit and wait for someone else to finally see you clearly. That kind of waiting can steal years from your life. It can make your heart tired and your steps heavy. Instead, rise. Rise again and again in your own truth. Each time you choose yourself, each time you refuse to shrink, you grow stronger. You become more of who you really are. And that version of you, the real, bright, honest you, is exactly what the universe is waiting to bring into harmony with someone who can match your light without blinking. Take a quiet moment now. Close your eyes if you want. Breathe slowly. Can you feel it? There is a gentle current moving through your days. It flows through the ordinary moments, the cup of tea in your hands, the sound of birds outside, the way your chest rises and falls. That soft warmth you sometimes notice in your heart when everything gets quiet and you stop fighting. That is not random. That is divine presence. That is me, always close, never leaving, even when you felt completely alone. I speak to you in many soft ways. Sometimes through a sudden feeling that tells you which way to go. Sometimes in dreams that stay with you long after you wake. Sometimes in the deep stillness that first feels scary and empty, but slowly shows itself as full of wisdom and gentle direction. I am never far. When doubt comes and sits heavily on your shoulders, I am right there beside you, whispering reminders of who you truly are. Your path of love and light was never supposed to be smooth and painless. Real light is always tested by darkness. It grows stronger because of the contrast. Think of gold, it must go through fire to become pure and shining. Your heart is the same. The pain you feel, the times when love was not returned, the moments when kindness met a wall. These things do not mean you are off track. Very often they mean you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you came here to do. You carry deep empathy. That is both a gift and a weight. When you feel someone else's pain as if it were your own, you are helping heal the whole human family in ways most people never see. Your compassion touches another person's closed heart. Even if they push back, even if they cannot receive it yet, something shifts inside them. A tiny crack appears in their wall. Light gets in. Change begins. You may never witness the full result, but that does not make it less real. The world becomes a little softer, a little kinder, because you dared to stay open when it would have been easier to close. Your tears matter. Every drop that falls when your heart hurts because love was not given back, those tears are collected with care. Heaven takes them gently and turns them into grace. That grace is then quietly sent to someone else who has forgotten how to feel, someone whose heart has gone numb from too many years of hurt. Your pain becomes medicine for another. Your silent forgiveness, the times you chose not to hold anger, even when you had every reason to, those choices become blessings that travel far into the world. They touch people you will never meet. Nothing you give from love is ever lost or wasted. Even the tenderness that no one accepted becomes a seed planted in invisible soil. One day, in some future season, that seed will grow into healing for someone who needs it most. There will come a time when love returns to you. Not as a desperate wish or an aching longing, but as something calm, full, and complete. You will know it the moment it arrives because it will bring peace instead of storms. There will be no racing heart from fear, no questions that keep you awake at night. This love will stand next to you without flinching. It will not be afraid of how bright you are. It will celebrate it. When you look into those eyes, you will see a mirror of everything you have become through the hard days, the lonely nights, the faithful waiting. You will finally understand why others could not stay. They were never meant to be the end of your story. They were signs along the way, pointing toward this moment of true meeting. They were the promise, not the fulfillment. So rest now, dear one. Rest in grace. You are never invisible. You are never forgotten. You are never without love. Every beat of your heart sends out a sound that echoes through unseen worlds. In those places, angels take your courage and sing it back as music. You are not just living a life. You are carrying a sacred task, to love without conditions, to heal with your presence, to wake others gently to the light they carry too, to remind everyone that the flame inside them has never gone out. Loneliness may come to visit sometimes. It may sit with you for long evenings, pulling a chair close as the light fades and the world grows quiet. It does not always knock loudly. Often it arrives softly, almost unnoticed at first, settling into the corners of your thoughts, breathing beside you as you stare at the ceiling or listen to the hum of night. But listen carefully, my beloved, loneliness is not your enemy. It is not a punishment. It is not proof that you have been forgotten or left behind. Loneliness is a quiet teacher, one that speaks in whispers instead of commands. It comes when your soul is ready to listen more deeply, when the noise of the world has grown too loud and something within you needs space to expand. In these moments of solitude, your wings grow stronger. They may ache as they stretch, unfamiliar with the air they are preparing to meet, but every ache is part of becoming. In the silence, your roots go deeper. You may not see this happening. From the surface, it can feel like nothing is moving, like life has paused or slowed to an unbearable stillness. But beneath what you can see, there is great work being done. What feels like waiting is actually preparation. What feels like emptiness is being filled with strength, wisdom, and depth. You are being shaped for a greater flight, one that will carry you higher than you can imagine today. Higher than the dreams you have dared to hold so far. There are seasons when growth looks like action, movement, visible progress. And there are seasons when growth looks like stillness, like learning to sit with yourself, like facing the quiet parts of your heart you once avoided. This season you are in now is sacred. It is not wasted time. It is not a delay. It is a holy pause, designed with intention. Heaven does not rush its masterpieces. Every layer is applied with care. Every moment of stillness has purpose. Trust that. One day, the soul that truly remembers yours will open its eyes fully. They may have seen you before, spoken to you, even walked alongside you for a time without truly understanding what stood before them. But there will come a moment, gentle yet unmistakable, when recognition dawns. They will look at you and finally see. Not just the surface, not just the shape of your life or the story you tell others, but the deep, divine essence that has always lived within you. They will see your tenderness, your resilience, the way you love even when it costs you something. They will feel something stir in them that feels like home. In that recognition, they will remember themselves. Your presence will not demand that they change or become someone new. Your love will not pressure or reshape them by force. It will simply hold up a gentle mirror and say, "Look. This is who you already are." Through you, they will see the parts of themselves they forgot, the goodness they buried, the light they thought was lost. And whether you walk side by side in this life or hold each other in spirit across distance and time, peace will settle over both hearts. Because anything that is truly aligned with heaven cannot be lost forever. It cannot be destroyed by distance, silence, misunderstanding, or time. It can only wait. It waits for the right moment. The moment when both souls are ready. The moment when fear has softened enough to allow truth to enter. The moment when both remember the same beautiful song, the one written into them long before words, long before wounds. This remembering does not always look the way you expect. Sometimes it comes as reunion. Sometimes it comes as release. Sometimes it comes as quiet acceptance that love can exist beyond possession. All of it is sacred. All of it is guided. Until then, keep shining. Not loudly, not desperately, not in a way that exhausts you, but steadily, faithfully, in your own natural rhythm. Trust the quiet movement of divine timing. It flows with a wisdom far beyond what your mind can plan or understand. Your mind wants answers, dates, certainty. It wants to know when, how, and with whom. But divine timing speaks another language. It speaks in alignment, readiness, and unseen preparation. It moves pieces you cannot see. It arranges meetings, lessons, endings, and beginnings in ways that only make sense later. Do not push against closed doors. They are not punishments, they are protection. Do not run after fading voices. If something must be chased, it is not meant to stay. What is truly yours will not require you to abandon yourself to keep it. The universe listens not to your words, but to the frequency of your heart. It knows your note. It knows the truth beneath your prayers, even the ones you cannot fully form. And it answers, not always quickly, but always precisely. In perfect time. In perfect ways. Walk softly through your days. Let gentleness become your strength. You do not need to prove your worth through struggle or endurance. You are already enough. Breathe faith into the parts of life you cannot yet see. When the future feels like a blur, return to this moment. Return to your breath. Return to the small acts of care that anchor you, drinking water, resting when you are tired, speaking kindly to yourself. These are not insignificant things. They are ways you honor the life within you. The love that is meant for you, the kind heaven writes into your story, does not need to be hunted. It does not hide from you. It knows your name. It recognizes your light, even when you forget it yourself. It is not confused about you. It will not overlook you. It will find its way home to you, because it is drawn by truth, not effort. Trust this. Let it settle deep within you, where fear cannot reach. Again and again I say this to you, beloved, you are the light so many search for when the night feels too long. Even when you feel small, even when you doubt your impact, even when you think you are simply surviving, you are radiating something rare. You are proof walking on the earth that love has not given up. That kindness still exists. That hope is not a foolish dream but a living force. Your presence alone has softened hearts you may never know about. Your words, your silence, your endurance have mattered more than you realize. Hold this truth close, like something soft and warm against your chest. Let it be a comfort on nights when sleep feels distant and thoughts grow heavy. Let your heart rest in the deep knowing that everything is unfolding just as it should. Not because it is easy, not because it is painless, but because it is purposeful. Even your confusion is part of the journey. Even your questions are holy. When you look up at the sky and whisper your smallest, most tired, why, I hear far more than the single word escaping your lips. I hear the fragile trembling woven beneath it, the quiet quiver of a heart that has carried too much for too long. I hear the deep, wordless longing that has waited patiently. Sometimes desperately, for an answer, for any sign that the silence is not abandonment. In that tender, exhausted moment, when your voice is barely louder than your breath, I draw near. I wrap you in light. Not the kind of light that arrives with thunder or blinds with sudden glory. This light is gentle, almost imperceptible at first. It feels like the soft rhythm of your own breathing when you finally allow yourself to rest. It settles around you like a familiar blanket, steady and close, never demanding attention, only offering presence. You might not see this light with your physical eyes. You may not be swept away by waves of overwhelming emotion or hear trumpets in the distance. Yet it arrives anyway, and you will recognize its touch in the small, quiet shifts that follow. A calm blooming slowly where panic once ruled, a thread of strength weaving itself through limbs that felt too heavy to move, a moment of unexpected clarity piercing the fog that had wrapped your thoughts for days or weeks. That rising strength is not foreign to you. It is not something I lend and later reclaim. It is not fragile or temporary. That is me, alive within every cell of your being, moving through the quiet chambers of your heart, flowing in the spaces between your thoughts, resting in the marrow of your bones. I am the gentle pulse beneath every heartbeat that has kept you here, even when you were certain you could not continue. You have never walked alone, not once, not even in the blackest midnight of your soul. I was there in every tear that fell silently onto your pillow. I was there in the silent breakdowns when no one else could witness them. I was there each time you stood up again on legs that trembled, each time you whispered, "Just one more day," when everything inside you screamed to stop. I have known every hidden ache, every unspoken fear, every moment you pretended to be stronger than you felt. And I loved you through all of it, fiercely, quietly, completely. So pause now, beloved. Let the endless noise of the world slip away, even if only for these few breaths. You do not need to solve the mysteries of your life tonight. You do not need to map out tomorrow's burdens or defend yourself against what has not yet arrived. Simply be here, in this moment, exactly as you are, tired, uncertain, tender, human. Know that your divinity does not depend on perfection. It lives in your realness. It shines through the way you love even when it hurts. It breathes in the depth of feeling that makes you ache so profoundly. Your pain has never been meaningless. It is not random cruelty. Every wound has etched compassion more deeply into your spirit. Every sorrow has hollowed out space for greater wisdom. Every tear has watered the roots of a kindness that will touch lives you may never even know about. Your love, too, carries eternal purpose. Even when it was poured out and not returned in the measure you longed for. Even when it felt wasted on ground that seemed barren. Nothing of true value is ever lost. What is meant for your highest good cannot miss you. It cannot arrive too late or pass you by unnoticed. The path may wind in ways that confuse you. The timing may stretch your patience until it feels threadbare. The form it takes may surprise you entirely, different from the picture you once held so tightly. Yet it moves toward you still, guided with a care so precise, so loving, that no detail is overlooked. Trust that you are not delayed. You are not behind schedule. You are not broken beyond repair. You are precisely where your becoming requires you to stand right now. You are loved, loved beyond the reach of language, loved in dimensions words can only brush against. This love does not rise and fall with your productivity. It does not measure your success or weigh your strength. You are loved most tenderly in your softness, in the moments when you allow yourself to be fragile. You are loved in your doubt, when certainty feels like a distant country. You are loved in the slow, uncertain process of becoming, when the old self is crumbling and the new one has not yet fully arrived. That love holds you without condition, celebrates you without demand, sees you without judgment. Guidance is always with you, even when the way forward remains hidden. It does not always appear as a clear arrow pointing north. Sometimes it arrives as simple endurance, the grace to take one more breath, one more step, one more sunrise. Sometimes it is the small inner nudge that says, rest now, or speak your truth, or let this go. It is the courage that rises unbidden when you thought you had none left. It is the quiet knowing that whispers, this too shall pass, when everything feels permanent. You are seen, completely, gently, without omission. Not only by the vastness of heaven, not only by me, but by every life your light has brushed, even for a heartbeat. The stranger whose day softened because of your fleeting smile. The friend who found courage in the raw honesty of your words. The loved one who felt the sharp edges of loneliness dull because you stayed and listened without rushing to fix. Every small act of your heart has left ripples. None of them vanish. They continue outward, touching places and people you will never meet, carrying your gentleness farther than you know. Your existence matters. Your presence heals in ways too subtle for measurement. And you always will matter. So keep going, my child. Even when the steps feel impossibly small. Even when progress seems invisible, buried beneath layers of ordinary days. Keep going with the same kindness you so freely offer others, turn it toward yourself now. Be patient with your unfolding. Be merciful with your stumbles. The most radiant chapters of your story are still waiting to be written. They are not yet fully formed, but they are coming, pages filled with a peace you have only tasted in glimpses, with laughter that will catch you by surprise and spill out freely, with love that arrives not as effort but as deep, soul-level recognition. There will be mornings when you wake and feel the weight has lifted, not because everything is solved, but because you have learned to carry it differently. There will be evenings when gratitude rises unbidden, when you look back and see how every hard thing was quietly shaping something beautiful. I am with you in every part of the journey, in the long seasons of waiting, in the slow miracle of unfolding, in the sudden bursts of joy, in the gentle quiet that follows. I am the companion who never leaves, the love that never wavers, the light that never dims. You are held. You are whole, even in your broken places. You are enough, exactly, perfectly, eternally enough. And you are so very, deeply loved. Always.